What is up, everybody? This is Matt, the host of the Jammies, and in this episode, I'm talking about some artists that have been so incredible this month. We've got artists like Innlet and Leap to talk about. We also have some solo artists in Sienna Spiro and Dom Lewis. A whole bunch of good music from those four artists, as well as the new EP from Ate All The Crayons, Evergreen. We got Young the Giant's new album to talk about, Victory Garden. Josiah and the Bonnevilles' new album, As Is, to talk about. We got a whole bunch of saucy singles, one of the best lists that I feel like I've ever put together here. Strap in, we're gonna have a great show. Really excited for you guys to be here and to hear it. Let's get going into it. But first, Super Effect, kick it! What's up, everybody? This is Matt, the host of the Jammies, and today we're kicking into episode number 19 of the Jammy Jams, of the Jammy Whammies. You guys hopefully have been here before, know the drills and whatnot. We're going to be going through all the different artists that I've been listening to the most over the past month or so. We have some great albums to talk about and a bunch of saucy singles. So many great saucy singles this month. Really excited to dive into all that good stuff. Let's start with something a little bit different because I have something a little different to talk about. It's still music related, don't you worry. Me and my wife were able to go see Arcy Drive in concert. We went on May the 4th. Arcy Drive, got to see him out in Milwaukee at a cute little Turner Hall Ballroom, I believe is what it was called. A nice little spot. Honestly, downtown Milwaukee treated us well, and this venue was pretty slick. Arcy Drive, definitely one of my favorite artists of all time, and one that I've been wanting to see live for quite some time, just never was able to make it happen. So this one, it was on a Monday night. We took Tuesday off, and we got ourselves there, and what a fantastic show. Highly, highly recommend if Arcy Drive's anywhere near you, definitely go check them out because they are a true rock band, like a bunch of rock stars, really. Their drummer just keeps like all the energy up, and she just like, I don't know, she is able to make the bass drum, the kick drum really pronounced. Just quick shout out to Arcy Drive there, and thank you for coming out to Wisconsin. I am hoping to be able to see them again real soon. They actually had some technical difficulties. One of their amps was like buzzing the whole time, so they weren't really able to even talk to us, but nevertheless, that just meant that they played even more music, and they did like a 3-song encore. It was fantastic show. Got to see and hear a couple brand new ones from them that have not been released yet. So Arcy Drive, if they're in your area, high recommendation. Me and my wife had a great time out there. And that is our little Arcy Drive concert experience. All right, let's jump into a quick bit of housekeeping here. If you wanted to follow the show, please do so. Click that follow button on your podcasting service and make sure to click the little bell or whatever sort of notification system your podcasting service has. Basically, every single time an episode drops, then you will be actually notified when it comes out. We usually stick with one of the middle Fridays of every month for the midway episodes, and then we do the last Friday of every month for the main episodes, but we're going to be coming out with some extra podcast material. So make sure to follow, make sure to click that bell to be notified when new episodes drop. We also have Jammies playlist. This is a Spotify specific playlist for each and every episode of the Jammies. This one will have one. The last one had it. Every single episode dating all the way back to the first ever episode. It is a link right in the description. It's going to bring you to Spotify, and it's going to let you hear and easily shuffle up every single song that's mentioned in the Jammies episodes. So even if you don't want to go back through and listen to every single Jammies episode to find the good music in there, you can just click on that Jammies playlist in the description, and it'll bring you right to all the goodies, all the good stuff out there that we've been curating through like tens of hours at this point of amazing indie music. Not a whole lot of overlap, so go check out the Jammies playlist. Again, link in the description. If you have been listening to any of the recommended music, if you have recommendations for the show, and if you have any music that you want to showcase on the Jammies, we do that around here. We showcase music. Our latest and only one so far in 2026 has been Allo Monroe and their latest single, Sway. We'll be talking a little bit about Allo Monroe pretty soon here. But if you wanted your music showcased just like Allo Monroe did, do reach out to me. Easiest way is going to be at the Gmail address. It's thejammyshow@gmail.com, TheJammySSHOW@gmail.com. Otherwise, right there in the description. Also, the link tree is in the description, so if you wanted to try to find my socials. I'm kind of moving off of TikTok, and I'm just going to be posting kind of still images for Instagram. I think it's going to help my editing and just the stress of having all this editing on my plate for the Jammies, and specifically for the Jammies social media presence, which is not my favorite thing in the world. But we're going to be trying something new. Pretty excited about that. So do follow me on Instagram. It's at MattyWitha. That's MattyWitha. Otherwise, again, link tree right in the description, and that'll get you over to those different socials and basically anything that the Jammies is working on. Last two things of housekeeping. Episodes have timestamps, so if you wanted to jump around, if you needed to jump back into when I talked about a specific artist or song, every episode has all timestamps and be able to find your way around with that. And lastly, the alphabet superset. I have a few of them scripted. I have like a few of the scripts written there, and I have an idea of what I'm going to be doing, but I just haven't been able to start recording them yet. I kind of want them to have an actual camera on, not just be the audio experience, but also be able to edit with some video. So that's kind of where I feel like I've been halting the project just ever so slightly, but hopefully the first alphabet superset will be out soon. If you missed me talking about the alphabet superset, this is a new series that I'm doing. Basically, every single letter of the alphabet, I'm going to be mentioning a specific album, and it's going to be like A is going to be its own separate podcast link or video type of deal. B will be its own, and I'm shooting for probably around like 3 to 10 minutes depending on how much stuff I have to talk about. The first two scripts for A and B are pretty long, so I think I'll be able to at least get a good 5 to 10 minutes off of those ones. So look forward to the alphabet superset. Again, do follow, click that notification bell so you are notified when those ones drop, because I am not positive when they're going to be coming out yet. But all that being said, thank you for sticking with me through our housekeeping. All right, let's jump into artist to mention. The first one to mention is the artist named Innlet. This is INNLET. Innlet is a fast-paced, lovely rock band with a nice trombone player to just add a whole bunch of depth to their music. And honestly, Innlet it's like Axe and the Hatchetmen and Arcy Drive like had a baby. And like what a combination of like two of my favorite artists, really. So we got this beautiful baby boy. We got Innlet to talk about. That's hopefully the last time that I'll call this band a baby. It's just the bit that I have for it, you know? But Innlet, they have a wicked drummer, man. They have like such a great drummer. If you do check this artist out, I mean, definitely you can obviously hear the trombone player, but make sure kind of pin your ears to the drummer because they are doing some special stuff. Their lead vocalist, like honestly, it matches kind of like Axe as well as the lead singer of Arcy Drive. Just great, like beachy rock type guitar, and like the sound overall is just great. And it's right up my alley. Axe and the Hatchetmen has that big band feel, but just fast-paced indie rock. And Arcy Drive, we've talked about them quite a few times here as well. As I just mentioned, I mean, we just went to a concert for Arcy Drive. They're probably my top 5 favorite bands. So to have this combination and to kind of hear in this song Yesteryear, which we'll talk a little bit more about in a minute, I mean, it sounds like the singer from Arcy Drive, and it sounds like the band Axe and the Hatchetmen just playing. Every song they just really jam, and I feel like all of them seem to have like this final act of the song that like pumps even more energy into them. So all good things. They fit the sound that I love the most in music, honestly. They're just jammy. Like everyone in the band plays just a major role, and again, just great, fast-paced, chill, beachy rock. Innlet right now, they have 8 songs released. They started releasing music on Spotify back in February of 2024, and they released an EP in December of 2024. This is their latest release, actually, at this point, and it is a debut EP that was called Flytrap, and again, it released December 23rd of 2024. So they actually posted recently that they'll have new music soon. So soon that actually they have a new song out. On May 29th, this one came out. It is called Pawn, I believe. So first song in a year and a half, and I have yet to be able to listen to it. I'm actually recording this one on, May 26th. So won't have a chance to listen into that one yet, but hopefully that is some good stuff because all 8 of the songs that they have right now, I feel like they're worth your time. It's 30 minutes total to listen to every single song that they have released. Maybe with this new one, Pawn, it'll be like 34, 35 minutes. But each song has something good to offer. Their most listened to song, it's called This Winter. It's great. The like tapping beat on maybe like, I believe it's the hi-hat, like a closed hi-hat is what I would assume it'd be. But the drummer does this part like throughout the song. And like, it makes me understand and realize that like, I clearly could never be a drummer because like, I can't even keep on rhythm with just that, that part, let alone everything else that he's doing during the song. So This Winter, again, top song out there. I do recommend that one. Escargot, arguably my favorite song by Innlet so far. Not sure who I'm arguing with besides maybe small debate with my inner monologues, but all the songs are great on here. Like I'm going to include The Winter, Escargot, Yesteryear, maybe Fly Swatter in the Jammies playlist. But if you're liking those 4, there are another 4 and actually 5 now to go check out. So Innlet, great band, super stoked to have found them. I guess finally, really, for me to find this band, because again, it's right up my alley. If you guys have been liking different music that I've been recommending, I can't imagine you not enjoying Innlet in the same ways that I have. So go check them out and check them out on the Jammies playlist, because they will be shuffled in at least 4 songs there. And Innlet was a band that I found kind of like halfway through the month. That's why they were not a part of the episode 18.5 to kind of go over some of the artists that I'm going to be talking about, some of the projects that I'll be talking about. But we did mention that SIENNA SPIRO, or SIENNA SPIRO, still haven't figured it out yet. I don't really want to figure it out because I get to make the same joke that I made in episode 18.5. SIENNA SPIRO is the next artist that we're going to be talking about. And it's either SIENNA SPIRO or SIENNA SPIRO. Spiro is a Pokemon. Spyro is a cute purple dragon. So either way, my nerdy self gets to be happy with the way I get to pronounce that. So SIENNA SPIRO, SPIRO. And honestly, I have a lot to say on SIENNA SPIRO. So let's get into it. If you're in the mood for some incredible singing, beautiful, full sound, great piano and other instruments, look no further than SIENNA SPIRO. I found her music in like the most random way. I was listening to Noah Kahan's new album, The Great Divide, and after that album ended on Spotify, it started playing more music, and the first song after Noah Kahan's The Great Divide album was a song off the new Devil Wears Prada movie in their soundtrack, and this is the first time that I heard SIENNA SPIRO, and it was the song Material Lover. Didn't necessarily like love the song, I guess, just lyrically, but it was like really nice, really jazzy, and her voice just sounded great over the track. So I went to her Spotify page, saw like 24 million monthly listeners. So I queued up a few of her top songs to see what she was about, but didn't anticipate like talking about the music on the Jammies. But she's too good not to mention. And the other cool thing is she's like really new to posting her music. Her first song was released in May 2024, and there's only about 11 songs by SIENNA SPIRO out currently. I feel like usually when you find or stumble into an artist with 24 plus million monthly listeners, they usually have pretty large music catalogs to get through, and like everybody knows their name already. But it's weird. SIENNA SPIRO, it feels sort of like special being here this early. And like clearly the world is taking notice with her being on the Devil Wears Prada soundtrack, as well as all the listeners, all the monthly listeners there. So I'm not saying I'm like new to any of this. Technically, I'm not new to recommending any of this music. Even the smallest of artists that I've recommended on the Jammies here is there's still hundreds of people at the very least listening, so can't ever be first. But if you want to get into SIENNA SPIRO's music, it's pretty early on. Again, only 11 songs out currently, and there's some great live recordings to not sleep on as well. She currently has an EP out. It's called Sink Now, Swim Later. This one released in February of 2025. The EP has 8 of her songs, like 8 of those 11 songs, and my favorites on the EP are Origami and Maybe, but the whole EP, really solid. But now her latest 3 releases, so after that EP came out, her last 3 releases, they're called You Stole the Show, Die on the Sill, and The Visitor. Wow, these songs are to another level. And with these songs, she actually announced in late May, last week for me, that she has her debut album coming out. It's called Visitor. It's Visitor, actually a deluxe album, and it's releasing July 3rd. So great time to jump in right now because not only these 11 songs that are currently out are all really solid, but I have a feeling that this album is going to be really something. It already has kind of her 3 top songs and really probably her 3 best songs that she has released currently. Those are all going to be on the album, as well as that song Maybe that was mentioned. So really excited for the new album. Yeah, so Die on This Hill, The Visitor, You Stole the Show, and Maybe are all going to be a part of the album. Even that Material Lover is going to be on her album, the one that was on the Devil Wears Prada soundtrack. So anyways, SIENNA SPIRO, she seems to hit every note. She has great low range as well as an incredible higher range too. Like her voice never seems to waver. Like the gods just blessed her voice, her vocal cords or something. Obviously, so much practice, so much training goes into it, but man, to be this uber talented is pretty crazy. The lyrics are all solid too, some really catchy hooks and refrains. Most lyrics I feel like are about like poor relationships and whatnot, but all good lyrics nonetheless. Closest comparison is an artist that I don't have a full grasp on, especially of like the full catalog, but I do feel like she sounds like Adele from what I've heard of Adele. High praise, but seriously, like give the music a shot. Some of the songs have a great classical feel, some of them have like a new style pop feel, and most of them have piano, like really clean piano and strings, while she just like belts it. Like, see You Stole the Show to get a good idea of not only how powerful her voice is, but also just the piano at play, the strings at play. So SIENNA SPIRO absolutely stole the show, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if she was in my top artist of Spotify Wrapped by the end of the year, because I've really been queuing up the music quite often. And again, now with this album coming out on July 3rd called Visitor, I will be listening even more in the upcoming months here to SIENNA SPIRO. So a lot of praise for SIENNA SPIRO, I know. I like to usually offer more time for artists with fewer listeners, but she needs to be mentioned, and it has been one of the artists that I've queued up the absolute most this month. So again, looking forward to Visitor releasing July 3rd, and that is SIENNA SPIRO. All right, next up, we mentioned in episode 18.5, we were going to be talking about the solid rock band named Leap. This is L-E-A-P, all capitalized. They have nearly 700,000 monthly listeners at this point, so I don't feel like I have to spend too much time here. I know I just spent so much time on the artist SIENNA SPIRO that has 25 million, and it's going to keep on climbing the charts, but here is the Leap. Here is the rock band that we promised we'd be talking about, and I actually mentioned them in the episode, like the very end of episode 18, kind of a little teaser that they were an artist that I was really excited to deep dive into to see what else was out there, because the 2 songs that I had learned of last month, they were called Exit Signs and Energies, and those basically turned out to be like their 2 best songs in my opinion. Like these songs had me overall really excited to deep dive into Leap, and while I didn't queue up Leap too much, I probably listened to like each of their 3 EPs about 3 to 4 times. Listened to their debut album, Entropy, which we'll get into a little bit more. That one released October 2025. I probably listened to that one about 5 times. So that might sound like a lot. Hopefully that sounds like a lot to some of you. But for me, especially when I know I'm going to be talking about a different artist, I want to make sure to exhaust, like make sure I'm not missing anything essentially, and listen through these projects quite a bit of times. I mean, honestly, again, more times than I've just mentioned with these ones. So a lot of times I really just wasn't in the mood for hard or heavier rock. This, not saying that they're hard rock, but just kind of didn't have as much of a mood for rock music this month. Work was really loud, honestly, over the last month, and it kind of makes it harder for me to want to listen to loud, punchy rock music. But all in all, let's talk about Leap and some of the good stuff that's out there. Between their 3 EPs, their first ever released EP was called 1 Million Pieces, out in 2022. They had a Dark Habits EP out in 2023, and they had the Downfall EP come out in 2024. And they essentially kept 1 song from each of the EPs, and they added it to the Entropy album. So I like that. I feel like the songs that they added were pretty solid. All in all, I saved about 10 songs by Leap. I have a playlist. I have a folder full of over 100 artists' names, and it's like favorite artist music. So instead of just like filling my entire liked songs playlist with different artists and artists that I like 20 songs of. I just filter that into their own specific folder, which does work pretty well. I do recommend that one just to keep your like songs pretty cleared out. And again, if you're shuffling your like songs, then you don't have like, I mean, I used to have like 50 straight of just Drake. So yeah, there's a little bit about me and my past self. Wasn't always this deep diving indie rock fanatic, indie rock and indie folk fanatic. We can definitively call me that, right? I mean, I know of over 100 bands that I think most people in the general population do not know. So there you go. Self-proclaimed. Anyways, Leap, about 10 songs saved. So some of the good ones, some of the ones that I really liked. There's a song off of I believe it was the Dark Habits EP. This one is called Calling Anybody. I also really like the song Exit Signs, as we mentioned before. Sinking Feeling, Energies, and The Downfall are also good songs. So Exit Signs, Sinking Feeling, Energies, and The Downfall, those are all songs on that Entropy album. And I think the ones that I'll include on the Jammies playlist are going to be Exit Signs, Energies, and Calling Anybody. So 2 of the songs that I knew about, again, last month, are still probably my 2 favorites by them. They're also some of their highest listened to songs on there. Leap, I think they got some good stuff out there. I'm going to continue to follow them and see what they release. I just kind of wish that their drummer was allowed to do a little bit more in songs. Like, sometimes definitely some good drumming going on, but with rock, I feel like you want the drummer to be really working, and it's too often just a simple drum beat, I guess, in my opinion. And like I said, there's nothing simple about drums to me, as I mentioned with Innlet and their drummer skills, but just in terms of the sound that I like for rock music. That's all I'm trying to say there. So still recommend Leap, still recommend some songs, and hopefully if you like the ones that are in the Jammies playlist, you go out, you deep dive into Leap, and enjoy them quite a bit there too. All right, next artist we have to talk about is Dom Lewis. We got Dom Lewis. What do you think Dom Lewis sounds like? Because Dom Lewis, really nice, like softer voiced artist in the kind of just indie folk space. So maybe you didn't think that when I was busting out the horrible Italian accent, but I mean, when I see Dom and I see Lewis, what was that last one? I'm gonna keep all of this, you know. Anyways, keeping onwards and forwards. Here we go. Dom Lewis. First song I ever heard by Dom. Well, just calling him Dom is so funny to me. But first song I ever heard by Dom, probably my favorite one. And there's a lot of great ones out there. But first song I ever heard by him was the song Sleep Louder. It's actually the opener to his latest album that we will get into real soon here. So as mentioned, Dom Lewis, really nice, softer voice, like over some punchy acoustic guitar. The album was out in March 2026, so pretty recent here. It's called Life in the Making. This is his second ever album. And Sleep Louder opens the album there. It's the best example of like how good all this can come together and how good the sound really works for Dom. When the music really gets going, it honestly reminds me of some solid RMCM type music. So you guys know Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners. If I have any sort of comparison to them, you know I'm going to like the music there. And I didn't even really realize that he sounded a lot like RMCM until I just recently listened to the full album, Life in the Making. And it was like further through the album and I'm like, wow, really incorporating a lot of good instruments and like the build up into Dom Lewis and his voice really carrying through kind of that like fainter, again, lighter voice, but how well it works in this indie folk space. And I think weirdly enough, yeah, RMCM is my recent comparison. So made it just in time to get a good comparison for Dom Lewis. Dom, he's got a way of like putting good refrains together, like slower sort of music, pretty good lyrics, and overall a great sound. The songs often have an extra instrument or two, like sounds like maybe a violin or viola in a lot of songs. We got some banjo at times, even like a harmonica in one or two of the songs, just to add some extra zest, some extra flavor into the mix. And the full band shows up at times too with like great piano, even some good bass, electric guitar, and like even drums sometimes have significant parts in the song. So it's something that I didn't notice right away when I was listening to Dom Lewis, but by these latest listens, I'm like, Man, I kind of want the vinyl for Life in the Making because it's great front to back, honestly. So when I had time, I mainly listened to the new album Life in the Making, but there are some good songs throughout the catalog going back a ways. There's another album released in 2023. It was just self-titled Dom Lewis. There was a deluxe version released in 2024 with a couple like live songs, as well as maybe 3 songs that weren't on the original. But my favorites and the ones that I'm going to include on the Jammies playlist are going to be all from Life in the Making, his most recent album. So we're going to include Sleep Louder, which I mentioned earlier. We're going to include Put It On My Mind, I Love You More, and Let This Last. And Let This Last was one that underrated for me. And then all of a sudden, this is the one that really unlocked the RMCM connection. And I'm going to include that one. Hope you guys enjoy Dom Lewis and enjoy some really nice, solid, pretty folk music that is coming from our boy Dom, Big Dom. So that is Dom Lewis, and that is the last of the artists to mention. Don't worry, we have plenty more music. Now is the time in the show, in the Jammies show, that we usually talk about albums and EPs, some recent releases that we have been digging into and we want to talk about here. So first up is going to be the EP by Who Ate All The Crayons. This one is called Evergreen. This is a 5-song EP by Who Ate All The Crayons that released on April 30th. And Evergreen is a really solid 5-song EP. It's got 2 songs that had been pre-released in Belly of the Beast and Saving File. Those 2 songs, didn't even listen to them as much because I was so enthralled by Deep Blue Delivery, and that EP had me so hooked. I listened to that one so many times, and I almost kind of like missed these most recent releases in Belly of the Beast and Saving File that luckily they kind of feel like newer Who Ate All The Crayon songs for me anyways. So along with those, we have 3 brand new ones. Starts with Bare Your Teeth, that's a brand new one. Then it goes Belly of the Beast and Saving File. Then we got Honest Talks, and the closer on the EP is called Tree. Belly of the Beast and Saving File, both previous released in 2025. Both of them rip. Happy to see them here. And the 3 new songs all work great for me. Tree keeps on growing on me. And Honest Talks seriously has like some Song of the Year potential. And if you guys were around for the Jammies Awards 2025, you may know that Supper by Who Ate All The Crayons was the Jammiest Song of the Year, the most prestigious of awards that we give out during the Jammies Awards. So, well, maybe it'll be bookmarked at the very least, that Honest Talks by Who Ate All The Crayons. I'll probably have it on a list. Will it make the cuts for Jammiest Song of the Year, or at least be nominated? We shall see. That is for further down the line. I mean, I can't believe it's almost June. When you're listening to this, it's probably June or further. So congrats, you made it through about half the year. How does it feel? Hitting on all your potentials? Yeah, we are hoping so around here. And speaking, oh man, let's just call this a great segue. Speaking of hitting on your potentials in 2026, we have the next album that we're going to be talking about. This is called Victory Garden by Young the Giant. We have mentioned Victory Garden by Young the Giant for what feels like months now, but it is finally released. It released on May 1st, so I had a good amount of time to listen through this one, and I queued it up quite a bit, and I'm excited to talk to you guys about Victory Garden by Young the Giant. This album is an absolute revelation for hopefully tons of Young the Giant fans. At the very least, it's a revelation for this Young the Giant fan. In 2017, 2018, that was probably my peak Young the Giant fandom. And at that time, I was stoked for the release of an album called Mirror Master. This released in 2018. I had like pre-ordered the CD and everything like that. I owned all their albums beforehand. And Mirror Master, it came out. Didn't really work for me outside of a few songs. And then the album American Bollywood came out in 2022, and it was just so creatively different from any of their older music that I honestly wasn't sure if I'd ever hear a new song by Young the Giant that really truly worked for me, and like in the same way that their older stuff had worked for me. And I am very happy to report that there are plenty of great songs left in Young the Giant's tank, and a lot of them are sitting on this album, Victory Garden. So Young Giant, they always crush the opening songs of their albums, and Victory Garden is the same, with potentially like 3 of my favorite songs on the entire album. Set up song 1, 2, and 3 to start the album. This is Evergreen, Different Kind of Love, and Bitter Fruit. Look at that. We just talked about Evergreen EP by Ate All The Crayons. Now we're talking about the song Evergreen by Young the Giant. You guys maybe even know Evergreen, the Richie Mitch and the Coal Miners' biggest song to date. So Evergreen really having a time, a really moment in Evergreen, I guess the word, really having a big moment in the indie space right now. So Evergreen opens the album. It's honestly probably my favorite song on the album. Different Kind of Love and Bitter Fruit were both singles beforehand, but luckily I didn't burn through those too often, so they feel very fresh on this album for me. All three of those are great, and The Garden comes up a little bit later in the album. This is a great one as well. And there's even more to like on the album. I'm going to include probably those four on the Jammies playlist for now, but if you have the time, if you were a old Young the Giant fan, if you're a current Young the Giant fan, or if you've never really heard of them, this is a decent time to jump in. And if you start to like Victory Garden by Young the Giant, there is plenty to go back on that will be even more kick-ass. So congrats on the album Young the Giant, and I am happy to be back. All right, next album to talk about is the album As Is by Josiah and the Bonnevilles. This one was released on May 8th. It's a really solid 10-song album. It's 30 minutes in total, and I think well worth the listen for some good country folk. There's sort of similar drum beats and acoustic guitar to his usual music. It's a lot of times about the lyrics and the vocals for me with Josiah. The songs Good Boy opens the album, Going Gone, One Day at a Time. Those are probably my three favorites on this album. Going Gone probably be my favorite song. It was a single before this one released. There's just something catchy about this song and really catchy about Josiah and the Bonnevilles' music. And anytime I get a chance to listen to Going Gone, like that refrain will be stuck in my head for hours afterwards. So definitely an album that continues to grow on me. And again, give it 30 minutes. If you've never heard of Josiah and the Bonnevilles, really kind of unique voice, sort of trying to bring back that old country, but some good folk feel to it as well. And that's what I have to say on As Is by Josiah and the Bonnevilles. Really solid one here, so do go check that one out. And the last album or EP that I have to mention, unfortunately, I can't listen to it yet. It is releasing on May 29th. Again, I am recording this one on May 26th, so it's going to be releasing this week. I'm going to be definitely checking it out. This is the new EP from Allo Monroe called Something I Could Lose. Allo Monroe, we got to showcase their music. We've been talking about Allo Monroe for a couple of episodes now, which means a couple of months now. And really excited for them. This is their second ever EP, and I can't wait to hear what else they have coming out because they just keep on releasing good stuff, and they got a lot of good in the tank, I can tell. So Something I Could Lose, Allo Monroe's new EP, again, released on May 29th. So best believe we'll be listening to it, and hopefully we'll be talking about it on the next episode of the Jammies. All right, you saucy sailors. We got so many saucy singles this week that you better buckle in. You better clean the poop deck. I don't... Sometimes, you say something out loud on a podcast and you just try to make something work. And here we are. We're moving into the saucy singles, the marinara singles. No, see? Sometimes just we'll get better at it. We're on 19 episodes. Sometimes the jokes land. Sometimes the things that come out just they work together, they mesh together, But here we are. We're keeping it messy with the saucy singles here, and we're gonna get through just some of my favorite music so far throughout this month, and lots of different genres. Let's get into it with the first one, and a song that I should have mentioned maybe last episode, even possibly 2 episodes ago. Just didn't really know where to put it, but this is the song The Infinite Shore by the band The Missing Piece. Missing Piece is P-E-A-C-E if you're looking for them. Great song. I really wish I could find more by The Missing Piece that sounded like this one. There's really pretty piano. There's like some ambiance, like before this solid breakdown with like faded yelling in the background. It's just a nice jam session to close out this song. I checked out their recent album, and it's definitely a little bit too heavy rock, heavy vocals, some screaming and whatnot that didn't quite catch me. But if anybody knows of The Missing Piece, do let me know if they have any other songs out there that are like The Infinite Shore, because this one has been listened to potentially more than any other song on this list today, because it's been in my like songs playlist for a while, and when it does come up, I don't skip it. So that is The Infinite Shore by The Missing Piece. Next up is Back to Us by Rec Hall. So this song has actually been out for a little while. I didn't mention it on the last episode because at first I felt like the song just didn't have that same energy that Rec Hall usually brings. But man, the more I listen to this one, the more I love it. I love it just like all the rest. Rec Hall just can't miss. Every time I bring up Rec Hall, I mention how they have not missed on a song for me yet. And while this one has a slight downturn in energy for most Rec Hall songs, it has so much good about it too that it just took a little bit longer to crack open for me. And man, what a juicy yolk inside, you know what I'm saying? This song, Back to Us by Rec Hall, the bassist just carries the song. The bass throughout the song is so damn good. It's got some soft vocals, good lyrics. It's groovy and atmospheric. And again, I queued this one up again and again in recent weeks, especially once it opened up to me. So Back to Us by Rec Hall, a nice saucy single to check out. And it made for a good omelet with maybe some salsa on there for our saucy singles. Next up in the saucy singles is the song Nosebleed. This is by Hans Williams and Lila George. This is the first song from Hans Williams in over a year, if you believe it or not. Only the third song since the incredible EP, More Than One Way Home. When Hans Williams decides to release an album, like, I have a feeling I'm going to sound like a broken record for a while, guys, because I'm going to be talking about that one. I really hope that it would be a fantastic album. I'll be listening through it. I'll give it every chance in the world, even if it is completely different from what he's used to posting and releasing for his music. I'll still just give it every shot in the world. But anyways, Nosebleed by Hans Williams and Lila George. This is a lovely duet with Lila George with some simple banjo, some good drums. Love the chorus. It like gives Lila George a shot at the spotlight before the second verse, and then they like run through that chorus back again later in the song, and it lets Hans Williams really rip a great line with his incredible voice. Just takes me back to 2024. Take me back. No, I'm enjoying 2026 so far, and I'm enjoying the song Nosebleeds by Hans Williams and Lila George. That is definitely an indie folk sort of duet there, and one that I highly recommend. Up next is the single Sunset Calling, and this is by the 4411. This is probably the wildest I remember a 4411 song getting, and I loved it. Glad we got a chance to talk about the 4411 earlier this year, because songs like this make me feel like they're going to be really popping off in the near future. This one's got some good tempo changes throughout the song, some great energy, great guitar. Really enjoying this one. That is Sunset Calling by the 4411. Up next, we have Float Like a Feather by Vision Arcade. Vision Arcade, I stumbled into their music around this time last year, actually, and I really loved everything that they had released in recent years. They were in the running for Artist of the Year. Really one of my favorite recent artists that I've stumbled into. And they haven't actually released anything since I've known of them. They haven't released anything since 2024, besides a song just in March of 2026 that was called Been Better. It was a little bit slower for my taste, so glad we got this one, Float Like a Feather. This is some good stuff by Vision Arcade, and gets me excited to see what else Vision Arcade is cooking up. Like after their November 2024 EP, Shane About It, had some of my favorite music on it in 2025, so I'm looking forward to seeing what they've been sitting on. Hopefully it's some more good stuff like Float Like a Feather, again by Vision Arcade. Next up is a wonderful song from Chance Peña, and this is a brand new single by him called The Voyager. This is Chance Peña's first song of 2026, and it's on a whole other level. It's great Chance Peña music. It's a single that has everything I love in a Chance song. It's got good quality, clear lyrics, got the build up of the acoustic guitar throughout pretty much the whole song it's building, and every instrument played beautifully. And like when he just lays on the powerful voice that he does have, and then like the song builds to a climax. Yeah, man, Chance Peña definitely just knows how to, like, he understands my musical, not that he's thinking or caring about me, but he knows how to make great music. Let's just say that. He definitely knows how to make great music, and it works for my brain. It fires off my synapses like crazy, and this one is no different. That is The Voyager by Chance Peña. Speaking of a band that fires the synapses off, synopses going crazy for this one. Probably a million synopses for 1 in a Million by Arcy Drive. This is more great music from, again, one of my favorite artists, Arcy Drive, and the single 1 in a Million. It's got some chill backup vocals carrying through the song. It's got great guitar to go along with it, a nice drum beat as per always. And then just let Nick Matty, their lead singer, take it from there, Mix that in, and you got the classic shout from Brooke, their drummer, before the song kicks up a few notches, kind of changes the style and sound of the song. They jam out for a little while to end it, and makes for a great Arcy Drive song, and one that I would highly recommend. That is called 1 in a Million by Arcy Drive. Next up, we have the song Excuses by Margot Sinclair. Some usual good stuff from Margot Sinclair. This one released just last week. Had a chance to listen to it a couple times. You got Margot Sinclair, always has that well-defined vocalist, like clear lyrics that control most of the song before a bit more of the band adds a bit more in, like halfway. It's a good one, good lyrics. What can I say? Margot Sinclair makes good music, and definitely recommend their style of indie rock. Next up, we have the song Persons by Magenta Wave, another good one from Magenta Wave with some solid guitar, usual solid vocals from the lead singer of Magenta Wave. Nothing wrong with that one. On to Tether by Old Mervs, and what do you know? An Old Merv song that works for me. Love the guitar riffs they put together. They always somehow sound unique. Like, how long have people been playing the guitar? And somehow Old Mervs always just has these repetitive, catchy, elite guitar riffs that always go with a great drum beat. It's just a guitarist and a drummer. It's Henry and Dave, and one of my favorite vocalists of all time, and just proves it time and time again. Tether by Old Mervs, another great one to check out by Old Mervs, one of my favorite Australian bands. It's funny, I can't even necessarily say my favorite Australian band, Old Mervs, because Rum Jungle, right up next. They have 2 new ones. One's called Got Time, the other one is called Meet You There. Those are our next 2 saucy singles, and honestly, I've only listened to Got Time about twice, and that is likely all I'll be listening to it before the album comes out. We'll talk about the album in just a minute, but I know it's a great song, and I'm just saving it for the full album experience. Meet You There, the other single that released alongside it, it's not going to be on the upcoming album, Marginalia, so that one is fair game. Go check that one out. Both are really good, but Got Time is going to be a great fit into their new album. Last saucy single to mention is a new one from Movements called Dissolve Me. I haven't had a chance to talk about Movements much on the Jammies, but man, oh man, this one hits like some of the songs from the 2017 album Feel Something. Spoilers for the Alphabet Superset. I think likely F is going to be Feel Something in the Alphabet Superset, because again, I haven't got to talk about Movements much. It's one of my favorite albums. It's so good. So we'll hopefully have more time to discuss that. But Dissolve Me by Movements. Love the guitar through the refrain. Relatable lyrics delivered perfectly as always from their lead singer, Patrick Miranda. I'm just so stoked because Movements is releasing a new album, and we'll talk about that in the next segment. But really excited to hear something that sounds like the good old days of Movements and the stuff that I fell in love with in 2017. So with all that being said, that is your saucy singles. Truly a great list. Like, not to brag about how great the music that I found is this month, but like really some good shit, just some good, solid music. So check out the saucy singles. It's the dopeness. Should I finish the entire rest of the whole show with that? Maybe I'll just sneak in a little bit more of that. Whatever that voice was. Do voices that you don't even know where they come from, does that get you canceled nowadays? I don't really know. Hopefully not. Don't mean anything by it. I don't have that many voices, I'm definitely not a person that knows impressions. Anyways, off the rails kind of an episode. I hope you guys are enjoying it in episode number 19. We're going to talk about upcoming albums and EPs right here, right now. So, as we mentioned, Marginalia, this is Rum Jungle's new album that's going to be coming out on June 5th. You heard it last episode. I'm going to say it again. They were the winner of the best album of 2025 in their album Recency Bias. So that one came out, I believe it was February of 2025, and it made it all the way to the end of the year to claim the top spot of Best Album of 2025. So obviously I'm going to be excited about Marginalia by Rum Jungle, and the singles that have been releasing, man, oh man, there are some good stuff. So if it didn't cost me $32 for shipping, I would definitely be buying this vinyl, but it's tough for me to want to spend and drop like $70 on a vinyl when it's like 38 for the vinyl, 32 to ship. I'm like, but they're from Australia. I mean, I gotta support them, right? I don't know. Who knows? Maybe that one will be sitting on my shelf. I hope so. But this is Marginalia by Rum Jungle, again, out on June 5th. It's almost here. June is going to be a crazy month, y'all. Let's get into the other releases here. We have Why the Lights Flicker by Telescreens. This one's out on June 12th. This is the artist that we talked about pretty in-depth last episode and talked about how Why the Lights Flicker is a 20-song album I'm very much looking forward to. Next up, we have Amateur at Best. This is Brenn. We got a debut album releasing June 12th from Mr. Brenn himself. This is BRENN exclamation point. If you've never heard me make that joke, I will make it every time. I've decided I'm going to make it every single time. So Amateur at Best by Brenn, a brand new debut album, June 12th. Already 4 singles out, so definitely some stuff to check out. If you've never listened to Brenn or if you haven't heard anything recently, 4 of the however many songs are out currently for the album Amateur at Best, again, by Brenn. We talked about her music last episode, and what do you know? A new EP coming out from After Louise. This is an album, or an EP called Angel. It is also releasing on June 12th, so talk about a packed Friday I'm going to have. We got Why the Lights Flicker by Telescreens, Amateur at Best by Brenn, and Angel by After Louise, an EP, all releasing on June 12th. So lots to talk about for June. And leading us into July is going to be that July 3rd release, Visitor, the Deluxe album by SIENNA SPIRO that we talked about earlier. And to end July, man, I was excited to see this one on my feed. We have Wholeheartedly, Terribly Sweet by Evening Elephants. And this is, this might be their debut album. I feel like it should be their debut album. So this one's called Wholeheartedly, Terribly Sweet. Again, that's by Evening Elephants, and super excited. Has Snow on the Bluff on there, has Simple Things. So 2 of my favorites already are sitting, waiting for me on that album. Good things hopefully ahead for Evening Elephants and their July 31st album release, Wholeheartedly, Terribly Sweet. We just talked about Movements, and we have their latest album to mention now. It is called Happier Now. This is a new album that's going to be releasing on September 4th of this year. So we got a couple for July now. We got a couple sitting in September as well. So Happier Now by Movements. Pretty excited to see what they're cooking up with that. I've been mentioning it in pretty much every episode, but as far as I can tell, this is all social media based stuff, I would say, but it really seems like Margot Sinclair is gearing up for a debut album. Elias Hicks has announced that there is an album coming up, but no word on what it's called or when it's releasing. As far as I can tell yet, there's also a second album coming out from Almost Monday, and even some possible, all this is speculation, I guess you'd call it, but I even saw Porchlight posting maybe about a new song. Porchlight we found pretty late last year. Really excited to hear what else they have coming out because their singer is phenomenal behind some great rock music. Porchlight, use the hashtag new album. We'll see. That's all I have to go off of on a lot of this stuff, but maybe even a new album from Porchlight. Maybe a debut album it would be from Porchlight with 2 great EPs out currently, but we'll see. And I'm sure we'll be mentioning it the second that we get more news on any of that stuff, but that is upcoming albums and EPs that I have my eye on there. So that is your episode number 19 of the Jammies, and thank you guys so much for being a part of it. Gonna talk a little bit about my podcasting history, my podcasting experience thus far throughout my life. I am sitting currently in my decade of 30s. Nobody says it like that. I'm 33. I'll just say it out loud. I'm 33. I know. So let's jump into just a little bit of my podcasting experiences. Back in college, I had a podcast. I produced it, invited everybody in, got all the equipment and whatnot. That one made it to 18 episodes, and it had to end. We were in college. We were moving on from college. So fair enough. We made it to 18. It was a good ride. It was a fun little project. It was fun to work with audio equipment and learn the ins and outs of that as best I could while just trying to get through my senior year of college. No big deal. But that podcast ended at 18 episodes. Then I met a guy. We hit it off, became quick friends, and I believe it was the second time we ever hung out. We were behind microphones recording the first ever episode of a podcast we called Partly Cloudy. Partly Cloudy made it to 18 episodes, and that was its run. So if you were keeping track, that is 2 separate podcasts that I've been a part of, 2 separate podcasts that I kind of started up, neither of which ever made it to episode number 19. So all that being said, it's kind of a little milestone, a weird little milestone for me personally to hit my 19th episode of the Jammies. We've been doing other little side projects as well, doing the halfway episodes, the midway episodes and whatnot. But to get through 19 true episodes of a podcast is a new record for me. So just appreciate anybody for checking out the Jammies, for listening in. Some of you I know have been here for every episode, which is just wild. I can't thank you enough. Anybody who's checked it out and stays to this point of the episode, man, it really, really means a lot. The show doesn't need to be huge, never needed to be really anything. It's more of a music journal of sorts for myself to kind of not only have fun, have a creative outlet to go to and sink it all into music, allow me to find a whole bunch of music. It's great for a whole bunch of reasons. Finding other people of like-minded interest with music and specifically the genres of music that I tend to get into. That would be cherry on top, of hopefully someday the Jammies is a nice little community of people that are all positive, wanting to share music, wanting to celebrate and all these awesome artists that we have out there making music. So that is what I have to say. Again, just thank you so much for being here. Let's wrap up the show with just a little bit of housekeeping before we head out. Again, do please follow the show, hit that notification bell, make sure you're getting notified when new episodes drop. You'll actually get a notification right on your phone if you follow and get that notification stuff set up, and that's going to allow you to never miss an episode. We also have the Jammies playlist. Every single episode that's ever existed of the Jammies has a Jammies playlist. The link is right in the episode description. Click on that. It'll bring you to Spotify. If you have a Spotify membership, you can click on each individual song, listen through the ones that maybe sounded good to you, shuffle up the entire playlist if you want. If you don't have a Spotify membership, you can still shuffle the entire playlist. You might have a couple ads pop up, but you can at least get the music that I'm talking about nice and easily in those Jammies playlists. So do click the link. And if you have music to showcase on the show, don't have a music showcase this week. If you wanted your music showcased right here on the Jammies, do reach out. Easiest way is going to be at thejammyshow@gmail.com. That email is listed right in the description as well. Click on that one, send me over a message, and we can start a dialogue. Really use that email if you want to reach out to me for anything. If you are enjoying the show, if you are enjoying the recommendations, if you have any music to recommend to me, definitely reach out. Let's start a dialogue, and we'll go from there. Alphabet Supersets, that is hopefully on the way. No definitive date when the first one is going to drop, but hopefully we will have the video for A coming out pretty soon here. This is going to be, again, for the album Aha Shake Heartbreak by Kings of Leon, an album I have not been able to talk about, and an artist that I really haven't been able to talk about much besides just comparing some bands to Kings of Leon. So look forward to that one and 25 more after it, and that will be the Alphabet Supersets. We also have the midway episodes, again, releasing on usually the middle Friday of every month, and that's going to fill you in on any artist that I know I'm going to be talking about on the next episodes, as well as any upcoming albums or EPs that were released or upcoming in the specific month that they're releasing in. That is housekeeping for the last time here, and next up, episode number 20. I don't know if I'm going to do anything special for episode number 20. It's a nice little round number, right? We like round numbers. We like 20. The big 2-0. So we'll see if we're doing anything special there. No matter what's going to be special is going to be the music that is going to be coming out, and hopefully the music that is going to be discovered in these next couple of weeks here, because as mentioned, we have a whole bunch of great stuff coming out in June. We have the Allo Monroe EP on May 29th. We got the After Luis EP coming out on the 12th of June. We got Telescreens' new album and Rum Jungle's new album. And Brenn's, this is crazy, and Brenn's album coming out all on June 12th. So we're going to have a whole bunch to go over. Look forward to all that, and hopefully some great new artist discoveries to mention here as well. So again, thanks for being here. Appreciate everybody for listening this far into the show and listening into 19 episodes of the Jammies. Anticipate the next episode, midway episode 19.5 to be coming out likely on June 19th. It's going to be another one that I can kind of push it a week back, get a little bit more time for the music, and the main episode 20, likely going to be coming out on Friday, July 3rd. So a little bit of time before you hear from me. Maybe I'll sneak in an Alphabet Superset episode if I'm feeling all sorts of motivated. If you're going to Summerfest, tons of great indie bands going to Summerfest. I am hoping to sneak over to go see Noah Richardson, friend of the show, Noah Richardson. Old Mervs is also going to be there, but unfortunately that same day I have a wedding, so we might go see Noah Richardson, then go to a wedding. Looking all dapper at Summerfest, hopefully. That's what I have for this one. Thanks again for listening. And of course, keep on jamming.